Hello everyone, I am Magdala Ramirez and I come from the Maya Mexica tradition. It has been such a powerful times. It is such a big wave that it is right now in this very beautiful planet. It is a wave of remembrance who you are. It is a wave of understanding and knowledge that it has been in this planet for a very, very long time. I want to tell you that the Cuecuellos book, it is ready in my website and is available. So just go to my website and find that book. And this book, it is just the tip of the iceberg. When I tap into this very beautiful knowledge of the ancestors about the Cuecuellos, the energy centers, and to see it through the perspective of emotions, and see it through that perspective of the feminine that it has been hidden for a very, very long time, and bring it into manifestation, it has been quite a journey. The truth is that everything is about that union of polarities, that hemisphere of your male and female within your own self, two energies that it turns into one, the two that has become one and the same. And understanding this knowledge, it took me into a very beautiful journey too. The journey of many tribes everywhere in the world. India, Africa, Russia, oh my gosh, South America, and of course our own tradition. It is very much has been everywhere in many tribes in United States too. The union of polarities, it is such a powerful understanding because it helps you to understand energy and to see everything through the eyes of energy, especially yourself. Those centers, energy centers that the ancestors called it, the Cuecuellos, it is very much based on the managing of energy within your own self. Many of the centers, it has been so completely manipulated and under attack by programmings. The programming of the patriarchal system that impose on you as male or female, it comes through an emotion that it has not been resolved. Many of those energies, you born with it, you inherit the fears, you inherit many of the situations of your parents, pain and suffering, you might inherit, but you also inherit the beautiful love that you are. And that creates a very different situation. Because it was painful, you very much block those emotions. You very much didn't want it to make it conscious, those emotions that it was there. But these emotions opens doors for that manipulation to happen. When we ask for a sovereignty, we ask for those infiltrations to stop. Those infiltrations that it has been hooking you in only a third dimensional reality to stop. Yet if you don't spot it where the door is, that energy will jump on you. The ancestors didn't deal with this darkness that it is right now in the world, the manipulation of the masses. Having different kinds of devices that are designed to control what you think, control what you feel. And you're being bombarded by it everywhere. Everywhere you go, where you live, TV, whatever interaction that you have to do this. You go to work, you deal with the food that it has been so genetically engineering. It just perpetuate the same situation over and over and over again, hooking you down into only the third dimensional reality. The fear for love, it's a big deal because when you have a fear for love, you very much disconnect to your own nature. And you are nature. You have always been nature. So the whole knowledge, it is about that union of polarities. The ancestors didn't see it as an equality thing, but two different power with two different energies within the self that becomes one. And that oneness, it is the authentic human being. They didn't see it like, well, let's create all these situations about women, like chauvinism and make the women feel bad about themselves. It was never about that because they recognized this energy as very powerful too. In science, nowadays, you have the regular physics. And that is the male way, the world of the creation in the manifestation. But you have now the understanding of the quantum field. And that is the part that it has been hidden. And that hidden is what the ancestors call the feminine ways. The ancestors have so much of that understanding that the warrior societies was about male and female, and the understanding of the energy of both happening at the same time. The knowledge in many places has been so completely manipulated and try to put it to fit in a society that only wants to see that third dimensional reality, including yoga for the India people, that they brought yoga into the system. The authentic yogi was a completely different being of what you see about yoga. It wasn't about just a posture. It wasn't about, work out and have the perfect mat. It was a completely different understanding. So it is happened with many other beautiful understandings and teachings that they were preserved in different ways. Nowadays, this knowledge, it has been revealed for a few people in many cultures everywhere in the world. And people that they were able to tap into it and develop it, and it was very, very beautiful. But it went into that secrecy again because you don't want to manipulate something that it is so beautiful. And it is about the liberation of the human being. And yes, dealing with situations that nowadays in this society it is happening for everyone. So the first step, it is recognizing that knowledge, that union of polarities within your own self, and see it through the energies. It is a place where feminine and masculine has nothing to do with penis and vaginas. It's not in the outside, but it is inside of you, in your own brain. You have left and right hemispheres, that they are connected in one way or the other. You have the whole understanding of your brain already installed in you, and yet to the programming, you are able to use just 5% if you're lucky, because it was that programming for you at very, very early age. The authentic creator, it was not accepted in the system. The authentic thinkers, they were very much killed in the system because they were about awakening a society. So you feel these forces that it has been in there under attack. You have been under attack every time that manipulation it has been taking place, and you not even recognize it because you think it is normal. People telling you what to think instead of you thinking for yourself. People telling you what you're supposed to feel and how to deal with those emotions. All this, it comes from the system. Instead of you recognizing these forces inside of you, as it is that authentic human being. The authentic human being, it has no issues with masculine or feminine. You must recognize that even electricity, you do have positive and negative to be able to have electricity. You cannot have only positive or only negative. It is both and the neutral. It is how energy is being produced, and so it is about you. When you recognize this very powerful knowledge, you must understand that as much more extreme you are into the feminine or into the masculine, much more bigger will be that perfect triad within yourself, because it is always bringing to balance. As much more you're able to see feelings, emotions, and recognize them and use the energy in a good way as a stepping stone to go into the next step of the pyramid. As much more help you recognize it and you bring it into manifestation, that is the middle way. The understanding of these teachings, it is imperative at this time, because in there is where your sovereignty resides. You can be asking for that sovereignty, which is imperative at this time, but you must recognize where is those doors that you allowing that manipulation to happen. They tell you what to think, what to feel, instead of you thinking for yourself. And this starts at very, very early age. It started with your family. It started with the schools that they wanted to produce mediocrity mind. Somebody that it is completely manipulable and controllable. And they will control you through pain and suffering. One of the things that they do about this is creating a perception about pain. You felt that you wanted to avoid pain as much more possible in your life, instead of seeing pain in a very different way. When you grow in your physical body, your body changes. You go into different situations when you're growing up, and there is pain involved. But you see, it is always a balance. And it goes back into that balance. There are stages in your life that there is a lot of changes. When you welcome those changes and dance with those changes, instead of rejecting the changes, it really creates a very different story in you. The understanding of those energy centers, through that love that you are. Why is so important that love that you are? Because in there, the manipulation of that knowledge, it created so many distortions in you. First, they tell you that you need to go and find love, and that you need to exchange many of your tones in order to find that love, for not to be you, and thinking that if you were yourself, you create this image inside of you that nobody will love you, and that was a big, big, big manipulation. The truth is that you come into this realm because you needed to have lessons of love. Every single experience that you have in your life, if you can decode it and see the message of love, then you will learn that experience and you don't need to repeat the experience over and over and over again. You're not your experiences, but you are what you have learned about it, and it is about love. When you see those centers of energies and you can see the distortions that it was inflicted and clear it and understanding it and learn from it, immediately those energy centers, it begins to create a very different neural network inside of you. We are in this very beautiful wave, the wave of Quautli, fly high. And we make a radio talk about this. When you are able to see that neural network from high altitude, to see the bigger picture, you will realize what parts of that neural network are functioning in a good way and which are not. And through that vision of love, you can heal those parts of that neural network. How does that neural network looks for you? Well, there are many events that they are happening at the same time. And you can see the different energies of those events. And each event, it is telling you different kinds of story, like part of the puzzles. They are all your relations. All is happening within your own self because those events is part of the hologram. Yet the one who is able to see the higher picture, you can see the message. And that message, it holds you into a very different dimension. The union of polarities, the male and female, it is the first door for your multidimensionality. The understanding that you are a healer by nature. You are gonna balance by nature. You're gonna harmonize each one of your centers to understand the energy about this. The one that created you, it is bringing you home, and it is inside of you. It is a voice inside of you that it is guiding you. The situation that human beings have nowadays, and I'm talking general, it has to do is, can I believe in that voice? Can I trust myself? Yes, you can. And the parts that doesn't trust yourself, it is part of that programming that I was telling you about, that it comes through that emotion. Can I follow that guidance? That is another one. And it is another energy center of yours that it helps you to understand why you don't trust that guidance. You don't trust the one that created you. Bringing you back home, it means bringing you back into the original vibration of being human. And as I was telling you, yes, this knowledge has been hidden for a very, very long time, especially in the realm of the feminine. Because when they attack you through that feminine of yours, and it doesn't matter if you're a man or you're a woman, if they created this distortion of an image, of a perception of reality that involves that part of your brain that it is feminine, it creates the enslavement of the human being. So this knowledge, it has never been disappeared. It has always been there in you. It is in your DNA. It is within you. To bring in that balance, we needed to rescue this knowledge and bring it into the manifestation, a way of living. Talk about it, understand it. But it has nothing to do about becoming feminist or any of that. That is the perception, again, of the patriarchal system. Instead of understanding this through that lens that they put you on it, a perception of reality, you must understand it as an energy, the energy of the feminine and the energy of the masculine. We have been talking for a while of that divine feminine and the divine masculine. But again, when we bring it into the manifestation, it really sounds as a different story. But when you put it inside of yourself, it creates the path for healing of each one of your energy centers, where it has been so much of that distortion, of that manipulation, that door that is open for all these forces that wants to enslave you, keep on enslaving you through your choices. As we have been saying, your choices are completely emotional. But if you don't know or understand your emotions, you're gonna choose whatever your emotions tells you, that those emotions, many of them, has been so completely manipulable. Overcoming the fears, because everything goes into one single root of those emotions, the fears. It is just very, very important, because once you overcome the fear and observe that fear, that it was just an image, it was just a virtual reality. You can see a big mountain in there when it is just a pebble and go around it. It really creates a very, very different story in you. The union of polarities and tapping into these very powerful energy centers where the liberation is taking place. It is a knowledge, as I was telling you, that it has been everywhere in the world. This is the time for you to remember. This is the time for you to overcome those limitations, so you are able to understand energy and the management of that energy. This is the time for you to awake that multidimensionality that you have always been. You see, these forces, it is just keeping you third dimensional because they cannot go to a higher dimensionality. It is the time for you to liberate yourself. No one, and I repeat, no one is going to come and liberate you. You need to make the work. Nobody can choose from you. Nobody can come and rescue you, but it is up to you. It is always a choice. I remind you that we do have a school online, the School of Ascension. And in there we work. We work spiritually. We understand the spiritual work. And we create different lessons to be able to overcome all these distortions that it was inflicted in the human being. You're not a victim. It is the time for you to understand this. You know, that overpowering, it just creates victimhood. Every time that your mind wants to go in justifications, it is just reclaiming your victimhood. It is the time to you to overcome this. The spiritual work, it is very empowering because you can do something about it. And you have the power to do. And you have the power to believe in yourself, for the only one that you need to reach is yourself. And we do have that beautiful app, Messages from the Great Mother. She wants you to know that she's always with you. And you can download that app in your phone. Doesn't matter what kind of a phone. And it is called Messages from the Great Mother. Keep on sending your beautiful letters. Know that I love you and feel you inside of me so much. I am you. I am your other you. Tlatzocomate, tlatzocomate, tlatzocomate. I am Magdala.